Hi, this is Megan Docherty and this is my research proposal for an investigation into the effects of temporary contracts on staff commitment and engagement. So start off, this type of employment has grown in popularity over the past few years. It's important to analyse the changes that it could be making within the organisation, whether this could be changes to the employer or the employee. So this is why I've chosen to research it. There's a lot of related literature to explore on the temporary contracts. It's currently a hot topic for researchers to investigate. So the research context, so the CIPD, which is the professional body for human resources and people development, described temporary workers as staff engaged on a non-permanent basis who could fall into categories such as employees engaged for a short period, self-employed workers, casual workers and agency workers. And there's a table on the poster with statistics from the Office for National Statistics showing temporary contracts. It starts in 1997 and it goes straight through to 2019, and it's got total numbers, the numbers for men and the numbers for women. And the numbers are varied, starting at 6,956 people in the UK, and that was in 1997, and that was who were on temporary contracts. It does fall down to 5,816 in 2019, but in between it kind of rises and falls. But the most noticeable thing that can come from the table is the levels are higher amongst the women than the men who are on temporary contracts. This could be due to social factors such as childcare responsibilities. Temporary contracts just may be more attractive to women than it would be to men. This research will be based on a company, and the company will be known as Company X, and that's for confidentiality reasons. It's a public limited company and it runs within the retail industry, as well as having a variety of different departments under their roof. They have 80,000 members of staff within the company, which would make the topic more interesting because every year they do take on a lot of individuals who come on to temporary contracts, and they take them on and they let them go, and this is mainly down to seasonal reasons. So they're busier periods during summer and Christmas. So my research rationale, I'm setting out to investigate the links between employees and temporary contracts to their commitment and engagement levels to their work. This will benefit the organisation. It will be able to allow them to evaluate their HR strategy, to see if using temporary contracts is complementing their business, to see if it is working for them or not. We want to try to understand if their employees are experiencing any problems with their work, and if this could be down to the type of contract that they are on. A study done found that 1/5 of temporary staff reported some level of stigmatisation within the workplace. So the research design and methodology. The methodology for this project is based off of Wilson's honeycomb of research. The research approach will be an inductive approach, and this is when plans are made for data collection, after which the data is analysed to see if there are any patterns emerging that suggest relationships between the variables. So stage 1 of this will be how the research will take place. It will be secondary data will be collected and analysed. Conclusions can be made from this. This also links with the nature of the research being exploratory, and the secondary data that we'll be collecting, because we're starting with existing knowledge and we're exploring it. This is what makes it exploratory, and this also links in with the data gathering. So we'll be using interviews and surveys. The interviews will link well with the interpretivism factor of the research, reaching out for patients' opinions. It should be a semi-structured interview. It should be more a conversation rather so structured. And this interpretivism is feeling researcher, so it's getting people's perspectives. Surveys will also be used, and they're doing the same thing about gathering perspectives, people's opinions, but to do this we'll have to use sampling to get a better gather of the information that will be collected. So to sort through the data that will be gathered, we'll use a non-probability sampling it'll be used as a deliberate decision of who takes part. So self-select sampling I think will be best to use. It would work best to collect data from who chose to take part. This will work well for the large audience that the retail industry is going to allow us to be able to see. And that takes us to the theoretical background of the project. So this is going to be looking at the engagement, the commitment and the temporary contracts. So it's set out to investigate if these are links, if there are links between workers' commitment and engagement to their employment. Does temporary contracts create a kind of barrier between employees and their work that wouldn't happen with staff on full-term contracts? So when you talk about the definitions for engagement and commitment, they do link with each other. For the definition for engagement, you see it mentioning dedication and involvement, and then for the commitment side, it talks about the effectiveness and the well-being. And although it's hard to measure commitment, researchers have had troubles with that. It does link in well with engagement, so looking at one you'd be looking at both. But we're setting out to see if the temporary contracts link with both. So are they creating a problem for employers, for their employees, or are they benefiting them? Because the temporary contracts does have a lot of benefits for employers, such as it gives them flexibility, but is there any point in having these kind of benefits if they aren't getting the most out of their staff? So that is what will be set out to research. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing your feedback.